like I've counseled people and I've talked to many people, and sometimes some of these things leave an effect on me. So, when I was in Arabia, I saw a lot of families, and I knew families, my friends and so on, visiting them and whatnot. And astaghfirullah, out of respect, of course, for the family, it's not like we don't mix with the women and whatnot. But sometimes, you see, like you see the way they are in the families. They invite you. There's a picnic. There's together, and especially if you spend some good time with them, you start seeing patterns and so on, right? So some of the women, mashallah, Allah is just blessed with that ability to keep things together, and that's why she is a shepherd in her house and her responsibility to her family. But some women are just experts at maintaining, connecting those ties of kinship, calling everyone, inviting everyone, arranging those picnics, those dinners, those whatever it is, right? Because that's where it falls through, right? A lot of people don't meet because I was busy, I couldn't, oh sorry, and then 1 year passes by. So I've seen this amongst the Arab women, where they keep inviting everyone, and they have so much patience, some of them. Now things are changing, of course, because of society is being brainwashed to think that those things are not important anymore. Dump the kids with the maids. You got amazing, attractive packages for you to work outside, right? For like maybe sometimes double than the men, or time and a half more than the men, because that's what they want. The society wants the women to get out and to destroy that valuable bond that they've created. But when I used to see those families, it was the mother of the family that had, mashallah, like 4, 5, 6, 8 kids sometimes, and all of them so respectful. And if the husband comes around, there's so much respect, and the relatives, and calling and arranging and bringing in, and always smiling. And I'm sure they have their problems in the background. Who doesn't? But subhanAllah, the sabr. And then you compare. How do I know that it's good? Because you compare it to others, where you see the misery on their face. They're never happy, complaining. You can see on their, the body language and so on, complaining, right? So I've traveled around the world a lot, guys. And I always sit with the culture. Like even here in Malaysia, I'm with Malays usually. Parents or students or teachers or whoever they are, right? So I've seen the families, I've worked, it's around the world. So even here in Malaysia, like I've noticed some of the sisters, the mothers, just amazing how they deal with their daughters. The patience, giving up their careers, realizing that, I'm gonna take care of my girls, right? And that's like something that really impacted me, when I saw some of these examples, and I saw the product of that. And maybe from what I understand, even when they maybe were balancing work and so on, they were still giving so much to the kids, keeping them close. I've seen this in some women. And it's really impressed me because you see the outcome. So if they're my students, for example, I would see the outcomes in these girls. Their manners, their morals, the way they talk, their shyness, and all that, right? So like, there's their kids. Like there's a few sisters, even amongst my students, right, who just their families, mashallah, and maybe you could look at their lives. Like I know one sister, who's like, like let's say these sisters, their household maybe is not complete. The husband might be missing for whatever reason. Okay, could be divorce, could be death, could be this, could be that, and still they're able to keep the fort. The problem is with today's society that they encourage the women to think it's okay to just, to just live without a man. And I'm not saying like for example, a sister, like she lost her husband or something like that, or she, got divorced, or she couldn't, whatever happened, okay? Like they're not choosing that. Allah made it like that. Do you understand the difference? Allah has put him in a circumstance that this happened. As opposed to, women today feminists who are like, I don't need to get married. I can have a child without even a man. I don't need a man to do anything. Subhanallah, like, do you see the big difference? One of them, Allah has put in a situation, if she were to choose, she would have her husband. You know? Yet still, subhanAllah, the family is intact. The kids are taken care of. They have good manners, good morals, good akhlaq, right? As opposed to someone now, I don't need any man. I'm never gonna get married. I can have children without a man. I can do everything without a man. Like this kind of mentality they get, injected into, right? And of course, they'll be miserable. But going back to the point, like seeing these sisters taking care of their families, and what's coming out of it is just more amazing, women or men, boys or girls, who will grow up to be more amazing Muslims. Why? Again, because the mother, remember, everything is based on the rahm, on the womb that comes from the female. In that case, but the mother kept things together a lot of times. And that doesn't mean the father does, right? But I'm just trying to highlight, because I know some people are like, oh, what about the father now, right? The man will be like, hey, you're talking about the women now, you're praising the women. What about the men? No, the men, of course. Yeah, there's no family that will function properly without a man. But today, again, context, right? Understand, I'm highlighting that issue. And seeing, based on my experience, what I've seen, the examples that I've seen, is that if the man does his job, and it's amazing, right? Then the family works well. And the woman does her job in the house, and I believe it's much greater of a responsibility for her to keep the family together. In the Silat Rahim, she has more time in the house. She has more ability to connect to the people, to arrange while the husband is working. I've seen miracles in this. I've seen, honestly, cases where I was just so impressed, and even amongst our community here, in Malaysia, right? Like, it really, really, I pray that my daughters will be like that. I pray that, inshallah, their daughters and everyone will be like that. Those are women that I can guarantee that are gonna be good wives. Those are women that I can guarantee, inshallah, they're gonna be good mothers, right? So, هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان. The reward for ihsan, for this type of perfection, inshallah, or close to perfection, is only perfection, inshallah, right? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to understand the importance of the woman to take care of the cradle of the second, from sukoon. Second in Arabic means the place you live, If you say أين تسكن, where do you live, right? From sukoon, it's a place of tranquility. And I believe that a lot of it, not everything, not 100%, has to do with the way the woman, strategizes in the house, connecting to her family, to her children, to her relatives, to her husband, and So I've seen things working out. And again, I think the most important thing is that happiness that they have inside for doing it, finding purpose in doing it, as opposed to today's brainwashed feminists who have removed the purpose. They make women hate that, and it's a strategic brainwashing. The women don't even realize they haven't even experienced something negative. A lot of them, some have, no doubt, and that has to be dealt with and accepted. That is a reality, that some women have trauma because of what's happening. But many of them have not witnessed everything or had nothing happen, but they've just been conditioned through the media and through this propaganda to hate the fact that they should be in the house, or they should take care of the house, or make silat rahim, connect to the children, connect to the relatives, or anything like that, to keep the sukoon, or the tranquility in the house.